Welcome to the Captain's Blog. I'm David McDonough, Senior Vice President of the Trilogy Financial. On this blog, we try to take what's unnecessarily complicated back here on Wall Street, make it understandable to you on Main Street. Down fractionally last week, up 1% for the year. What happened last week? The tariff threat, the 10% across the board EU tariff threat, and the EU threatening a trade bazooka against the United States fell through. There was a negotiation. There was a framework for a deal that we don't invade Greenland, or is it Iceland? I don't know. But what did happen last week was that sector rotation continued. The large company, the FOMO stocks that we talked about in December, continued to get hit, while the small company, the value, the energy, the commodities trade continued to outpace. And get this, folks, class, the S&P 500 outpaced the Dow because one name, like last week it was Intel, took up too much of that drop. Did that trade continue? Did the profit taking and the high flyers continue? And did the commodities trade continue to go through the roof? Here's your week in review. We came in on Monday with the threat of another government shutdown as of today, as of Friday. Last night there was a deal. This morning there isn't a deal. Wall Street at this point doesn't care. We had earnings this week, corporate earnings, which again is why you invest in the stock market, for growth. The haves and the have-nots. Some names out there like Meta, flying, good earnings report. Microsoft, not so much. UNH, United Healthcare, the threats of Medicare caps buried that stock just on Tuesday alone. That took 250 points off the Dow. But you're not paying attention to that anymore. You're paying attention to what? The S&P 500. Now, we had the Fed in the middle of the week, as predicted, did not cut rates, data dependent. They say that inflation is under control and the economy is doing well, and you as the consumer are doing well. They also said that the labor market is improving. Well, tell that to the 30,000 people being laid off at UPS, or the 16,000 people being laid off at Amazon. There's no reason, there is no doubt as to why you, the consumer, your consumer confidence is now at 11-year low. What we're also seeing as of this morning is the commodities trade is turning into the tulip mania. What do I mean? Dave, throw a little B-roll up there, what tulip mania is.
Back in the 1600s, the Dutch, they get speculation fever to the point that you could buy a beautiful house on a canal in Amsterdam for the price of one bulb. They called it tulip mania. Then it collapsed. You buy 10 bulbs for $2. People got wiped out, but who remembers?
Now, I'm not trying to compare tulips to copper to silver. But what I am saying is when everybody is running for a trend or a trade, it is time to look the other way, continue to diversify. I mean, some of these positions are down 7%. I saw silver down 12% in a day. The music stopped. If you were just owning that one position, well, your ass is on the floor right now. This is PG-13 because the music stopped and you had all your bets, all your assets in one chair. Stay diversified, rebalance. And if you're with Flagship, powered by Trilogy, we're doing that for you. Here's what to look for next week. As of this morning, an armada is on its way over to the Middle East. Geopolitical risk will continue. But we're also going to be facing earnings reports. And as of this morning, 75% of corporations that are issuing their earnings and their guidance are beating expectations. I continue to believe that the value names will be in vogue. Pick your spots, buy on dips, and don't chase. Here's your personal finance tip of the week. It is not too late to contribute to an IRA for 2025. You have up until tax filing date, which I believe this year is April 15th. More money in your pocket, less in the IRS's pocket. And lastly, for those of you looking to file your taxes now, and you're clients of ours, you can find it online, mailed to you at the end of this week. Or lastly, if needed, we'll get them out to you via email or traditional Pony Express regular mail. So thanks again for checking, and we'll see you next week on the Captain's Blog.